Meanwhile, there's a national initiative to promote transparency within the government known as Sunshine Week. When state budgets are tight and every dollar spent is analyzed, open access to how the government spends tax dollars is important. Gabriel Cordoba was at City Hall where Arizona Public Interest Research Group Education Fund announced our state's grade when it comes to transparency of the government spending. Gabe?
Arizona PIRG is a consumer group that promotes transparency and stands up to powerful interests. PIRG analyzes the actual transparency of a government, and earlier this afternoon, PIRG awarded Arizona with a grade of B, qualifying Arizona as an advancing B state. For a state to be considered an advancing B, the state must allow for users to easily search their state checkbooks and download them for offline analysis. Even though the Open Books Arizona website is accessible by the public, there is not as much traffic on it as expected. Dr. Byron Schlomach, an economist for the Goldwater Institute, places blame on the universities.
Students ought to be all over the Open Books website, as well as the websites of other states, as well as the transparency websites of local government. The fact that they're not all over it, that there aren't thousands of hits from the universities, I think speaks a little bit critically of how well they're preparing their students.
PIRG says transparency is the first step to ensure that corruption is locked in the past and knowledge is the key to the future. For more information on how your state is spending their money, take a look at openbooks.az.gov. Live in downtown Phoenix, I'm Gabriel Cordoba, Cronkite News.
Governor Doug Ducey's plan to create a new badge-carrying inspector general just passed committee 4-3. Ducey announced in his State of the State address that he wanted an independent IG to act as a watchdog for taxpayers and investigate government waste, fraud, and abuse. The governor's office says this position will help provide an additional check and balance to the state government, but some policy groups have their concerns.
This position will enable someone to go in and shine the light on behalf of the taxpayers.
If the Inspector General is investigating and finds a series of corruption or complaints, it is important that the public is made aware.
The effort to establish an Inspector General position was woven in as an amendment to a previous bill and calls for all findings and reports to be made public.